with Andrew McCabe from Claims Delegates. And you're out there in beautiful, beautiful Bend, Oregon. You can see the mountains kind of there
Yes,
behind
sir.
you. That's Bachelor, right?
Bachelor
Yep.
there.
And
The
then
Three Sisters yonder behind the Old Mill District, the famous three smokestacks of the Old Mill.
And that's an REI now, right?
That's an REI now.
Yep.
And that whole area downtown, right there is, like everywhere else in the country right now, it's just a ghost town. It's really eerie, but it's great to be here. I mean, look, I can't you can't get enough of this.
Yeah, we've had pretty decent weather up here in Tacoma, but the sun's not quite as shining as it is there. So I know you're a Oregon State Beaver alum, so I wore my Ducks pullover for you.
I got my Pepto-Bismol. I'm all right. I'll be okay. I can look at this for a little while.
Well, and I'm up in Seattle, so I almost get the same reaction. This is Husky country, so or
Dirty
Cougars.
dogs. Dirty dogs.
So it's a little bit about your background. I became aware of the 24-Hour Tech. You wrote that, published that in 2016. Is that correct?
Give or take. Yeah, I think that's the first or second edition for sure.
And you started Claims Delegates in 2012. So you're kind of been on the forefront for a long time of the remote Xactimate estimating. And kind of the topic I wanted to get in today is Matterport and kind of innovation, especially in light of this COVID situation. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background in the industry and how Claims Delegates came to be?
Well, it's nice we have this ability nowadays, right? Because we can't shake hands in real life. We get scolded by our wife. So I started in restoration really early, 1999, and made my way up, through all the ranks of doing all the various stuff: water damage technician, project manager, estimator.
Yeah.
In 2012, I broke out because I saw an opportunity. I saw that the way claims, or even back in 2012, the way claims are being handled, the way interactions are being handled, Xactimate became very much a claim settlement tool versus a construction estimating tool, right? So with that frame of mind, I said, well, I have this skill set. I'm going to take this particular skill set that I have in Xactimate and my knowledge and background in restoration, and I'm just going to go freelance. I'm going to go take it outside of the common, back then, if people thought I was crazy, they said, you can't do that. No one's going to pay you to write their Xactimate estimates. That's why they have estimators on staff.
Right.
Well, fast forward 8 years, and I mean, I don't know how big the remote Xactimate estimating industry is, but it's got to be big. It's got to be gigantic. So when Matterport came along, I just saw that as an extension of what I was already doing. So me and Claims Delegates and the writers that I have on staff, we are an extension of the contractor. We are an extension of the consultancy. We are an extension of the adjusting firms to a certain extent. We are their eyes and ears. So we would go out there and do their measurements, do the photos, write the estimate, and submit it to them. Well, Matterport allows us to do that just at a much finer detail. The ability to go out, and I don't even have to be, and it doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be me or my camera. In any major market in the United States, I can find somebody that runs a Matterport camera for a living, because they're already out there doing it for the real estate agents. And have them go, hey, do this loss, send me the information, and then within a day, I can walk that loss as if I was there. So it's changing the game for sure.
Well, I guess I've been aware of it. I've seen you and a few others post on it, and I know you posted the other day looking for some help in the Seattle area, and I guess that kind of sparked more of my interest. Is so even pre-COVID-19, right? This is, I guess, can you walk through the dynamics of how Matterport works? Do you just set a camera up in the room? It's taking a 3D scan. Like, how long would it take an average 1,500 square foot ranch style home how long does it take to, do the Matterport process as far as
You're in a house that size less than an hour.
Wow. And
And
dimensional sketches, and you've got the
it's
layout.
the regular Matterport camera, the Pro 2 is what I use. And they do interface, the Matterport platform does interface with the 360 cameras. The Theta V, I think, is one, and then there's Ricoh 360 or something like that. There's, they're about yay big, and they take a 360 picture. Well, the magic of the Matterport platform is it takes those pictures and weaves them together into your full model. But the Pro 2 has 6 lenses and 3 lasers.
Wow.
And they're offset, one up, one down, one straight. And it does exactly what you just said. You set it in spot, it rotates 360 degrees, takes a panoramic picture, 4K picture with all those lenses, and measures with lasers. And then you move it to another spot, and then it does the same thing. And then the software takes those 2 data sets and molds them together. And the magic happens when we're done. We can just click a button and order what Matterport calls a true sketch, and they will send us an ESX file, an ESX sketch.
No kidding.
Perfectly dimensioned according to what we just did. So that, as far as time savings and everything else, and accuracy, frankly, because not everyone has, you're pretty good at what you do. I like to say I'm pretty good at what I do. But I still can't be as accurate as one of these cameras can when it comes to sketching.
So we had a previous conversation about kind of the background behind 24-hour tech, and you and I agreed. I mean, we went through a period. I remember when I was estimating in Oregon, we had freezes, right? And I mean, just hair on fire.
You can't keep up.
And you can't keep up. So we had to whittle our process down to, like, if our techs could give us good detailed pictures and a good sketch, I can write a pretty dang good estimate from that.
Yeah,
and
you can take it from there and run.
So with the Matterport,
that's where the Matterport plays exactly into that same. It's the same mentality of, let's let the technicians and the lower wage, for lack of a better term, the lower wage guys to get just the frontline guys to get all the data. So you don't send $150 an hour guy out. Or whatever, $75 an hour, whatever project manager is. It's expensive. It's expensive labor, and you're paying for windshield time, and that, you're exactly right. That was exactly the mentality behind the 24-hour tech. Is I couldn't be everywhere. I couldn't, as a project manager estimator, see every single job in time to make the KPIs for all the programs and everything else. So I had to find a way to get the frontline guys get the data. And it's a beautiful thing.
So a lot of people I talk to, they say Matterport, especially, I think you showed some pictures of, a large commercial loss or a hotel or something like that. Obviously, that's going to exponentially cut down your time with a laser, taking measurements and whatnot, and the accuracy. But this has real applications even in the residential world. Obviously, we probably don't want to talk dollars, but it's a significant investment, I would assume.
Well, even think about when infrared cameras came out, right? They were $15,000.
Yeah.
But people still bought them because they still made sense. There was still a business case for them.
Do you know that? What is the average Matterport cost?
Full setup, you're about $4,500 in.
Oh, really?
It's not bad.
I thought it was
in the grand scheme of things.
Wow. Okay.
No. The camera itself is $3,200, but then you got all the accoutrement,
depending on what you want your kit to be. Sure.
Yeah, you got the Pelican cases or whatever else so you can travel with it without a break-in and things like that.
So
$4,500 all in. Yeah, $5,000.
Wow.
But with Matterport, you got to pay for the service. I think mine is $50 a month. And there's some
tiers.
There's tiers. I don't know them offhand. But I've got unlimited spaces. They call every scan, they call it a space. So I've got quite a library of past jobs that I've scanned that I can go back to at any time. And that's where on the other side, once a claim goes bad and goes legal, right?
Sure.
no insurance company or contractor wants to go to court opposite this kind of data.
Yeah.
And that's the real beauty of it is this, it plays to a jury so well that
you can walk them through the claim, right?
You can literally walk them through the claim.
Yeah.
It's priceless. So if you're thinking long term, if you're playing a longer game, it's a no-brainer. Go get one today and start using it on every single job. There's a company, I think it's Chicago Fire and Flood or Chicago Fire and Water. They have 45 Matterport cameras.
Huh.
And they scan every loss, every water loss. They use it on mitigation. Right? Well, they do a pre-scan on mitigation and a post-scan on mitigation.
Yeah.
And it's CYA to the nth degree.
Well, and this probably sounds like we're doing a running advertisement for Matterport, so hopefully we get our royalty checks.
Right?
But really
hey, Tomer, if you're listening, you got my address.
The intention is to talk about the technology, right? And it's funny you bring that up, that there's a company that has 45 of them. I don't want to name names, but there's a company I worked for, pretty reputable and large. And when I got there, they were still using brick cameras with the 3.5-inch floppy disks. And this is in the 2000s. So
this is in the 2000s.
Yeah. And so I can remember I was at a Service Master, when did I start? 2002. And those cameras with the 3.5-inch floppies was high tech. You know, that was top of the line. And you had your folder of like just all these floppy disks, you know.
I mean, they were thick.
Yeah.
We were using Polaroids.
Yeah.
When I started. And you to submit, we would tape the Polaroid to a piece of paper and run it through the fax machine.
Yep.
And forget about it.
I'm trying to remember. I think I started like, I want to say Xactimate. It was either 18 or 22 or something like that. But that's so please understand, everyone, this is intended to be about technology, not necessarily Matterport, but they're on the front edge. So
they are on the front edge, and let's mention a couple other. Magic Plan is similar. It's hard to compare. It's really there, but it does the same thing. It lets a machine do the sketching. The machine captures the environment and the data.
Yeah.
So it takes the human error and the human time frame out of it.
Yeah. There's other 3D cameras and I think even like Rigid and stuff like that have adaptations. Bosch. I'm working with a contractor now that has a Bosch, and it does the sketch for you. And you can even take the photos in the app and put your measurements on the photos. So
nice.
I mean, there's so much tech out there that if you're not using something, it's you're cutting yourself short.
Well, you're just behind. You're just behind. Everyone's going to outrun you.
Yeah,
for sure. And Matterport just happens to be on the front edge of the curve.
Well, and that's what you have experience with. So obviously that's what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And as with every technology, you're never going to be number one forever, and you're never going to be the only one forever. There's going to be other technologies and other companies that come into this space, and I think it's better for everybody.
Yeah. Well, that's another topic. I was going to say,
yes, it is.
I remember when Steve Jobs, I guess his favorite invention was like the Discman. And so they had created the iPod, and then when they're updating the iPhone, they're like going to incorporate the music, and they're basically going to make their own technology obsolete. So it was a leading seller, but they're like, if we don't do this, somebody else will. So, disrupting
Absolutely.
yourself. I think that's where, especially for restoration companies, if you're not trying to disrupt yourself and be on the front edge, people are going to take you over.
Well, and I think a lot of people are running scared. With that right now.
Yeah. Well,
and we've got to start innovating. That's, speaking of topics for another day. Yeah, that's going to be huge.
Well, and that, I think.
Did I lose you?
Yeah, we had a little bit of a blip there. I think so. Even pre-COVID-19, right? I mean, this COVID-19, a pandemic like this, shows we have holes in our systems where we need to innovate. We've known we need to innovate, and now you are going to have to innovate, right? I mean, this is going to be, the implications health-wise and to the economy are going to be, the extent is to be seen, right? So
Yeah.
as far as, and that's kind of the goal of this is, you know, no one has all the answers, but we each are getting puzzle pieces and trying to the best of our ability, share valid and legitimate information rather than just conjecture. So now, with COVID in mind, I think I've seen there's a few companies that have promoted, you know, adjusters can't go onto sites or not being allowed to go onto sites. So Matterport potentially is a very helpful tool with regards to sites and getting, you know, surveys of damages and that kind of thing.
Yep.
Well, and in some cases, you know, with the auto industry, you know, they're having people do their own scans of their cars and things like that and settling claims online.
Yeah, that was already done.
Yeah. And
yeah. So if you put a piece of technology, make it smaller, and put it in a smartphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's where, I mean, I keep coming back to Magic Plan. Magic Plan's an iPhone app.
Yeah.
Well, just tweak it a little bit for the carrier, and the carrier all of a sudden, you've got a homeowner walking through their own house documenting their own loss. Now, I have opinions about that, but
yeah,
it's plausible.
I want to say 2014, somewhere around 2014, we had a couple claims where that had happened. And it's just like in a disaster scenario, right? It's an initial check. Some homeowners don't necessarily understand that. It's your initial settlement. They're trying to get money in your hand. You still want to get valid estimates and those kinds of things. But yeah, that's coming. And if the tech is catching up, you know, I mean, but that's for adjusters, in-house adjusters, independent adjusters, and then restoration companies, you know. I know you know, a hot point for you is the TPAs and those kinds of things, you know, but I mean, innovation is coming, right? So, and it's here, you know, so how do you see?
I think one of the biggest hangups people have is if I'm going to spend $5,000 on this camera, how do I charge for it?
Yeah.
And yeah, I always go back to the infrared camera analogy. We don't charge to use infrared cameras anymore, do we?
Yeah.
No.
Or don't charge to use our little Bosch, you know,
we don't
laser measures. Yeah.
Charge for the laser, you know, my laser tape with the Bluetooth. I don't charge for that.
Yeah.
So we got to get out of that mindset of, well, I need to be able to charge for this and look at it like, what does this add to my business? What does this? It's a value add. It's a very significant value add.
Yeah.
And you don't have to necessarily have a line item and an Xactimate for it.
Yeah. Well, but on the flip side, someone like yourself or some of these restoration companies, if you're providing a direct service to the carrier or the adjuster solely for the purpose of going in to do the Matterport scan, obviously that seems like that would be a legitimate, you know, charge.
Well, it's a charge for an inspection.
Yeah.
Now, how you do that inspection.
Yeah, is between you and the carrier. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's what technology you have on hand. So yeah, you absolutely charge for inspections, but don't charge for the camera just because you feel like you need to make up for whatever.
Yeah, using it on your own losses. Yeah, and then I would think the savings would be exponential if I could have, back in that flood scenario, had Matterport scans. Now, can you like zoom in and get dimensional? Like, say there's a, you know, the bathroom and there's flood cuts and the floor's out. You can zoom in, and can you get dimensions off of the scan?
Oh yeah.
No kidding.
Oh yeah. They just came out with they've been refining it this year. Last month, 2 months ago, I think it's been 2 months, where they actually have a feature where it used to be only the owner of the scan could do measurements.
Okay.
But now, once you make a scan, a space public, any person with that link can go in and draw a line and get a measurement anywhere.
Huh.
And it's slick. It's yeah. How tall is that baseboard? Well, it's 2 1/4. Well, it's 3 1/4. It's 4 inch. How big is that window? Easy.
Well, I have a good friend. He's an independent adjuster, but he also flips houses, and he uses it, like you said, for real estate to do the 3D walkthroughs. And he's done some cool time lapse basically the process from start to finish, what it looked like previously, and then afterwards. And so it's pretty trick,
Well,
so
now they're doing virtual staging.
yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you can add in.
You can put in your couch, or I'm thinking, well, let's try out these new cabinets. Let's try out this new countertop, right?
Yeah.
Let's put that vanity in there virtually to see how it looks.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a sales extension to the sales team.
Yeah.
For your upsells.
Well,
it's priceless.
There's I guess maybe for property restoration companies that have the technology, digital home tours. I mean, there are still going to be home sales. They're going to be less, but I think right now my wife's a realtor. They're encouraging 2 people at a time. Like the distancing and whatnot, and lots of
open house. Okay.
For well, even a walkthrough. I don't think they're doing open houses, but like if you're doing a walkthrough on a house that you're wanting to buy. So,
okay.
Man, you got my wheels spinning. Maybe I need to drum up $4,500 and.
Hey man. And it's priceless data.
Yeah.
The fidelity of the data set is unmatched.
Yeah.
And it's there forever.
Yeah.
So people need to just stew on that. Like,
right.
I have a data set of this space that is accurate, 99.9% accurate. I mean, down to that. And I can go back to this space, this point in time in this space forever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've already had spaces where they had one loss and then it came back a year later with another loss.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we've done similar, and you have the sketch, right? And then of course there's one more room that got affected the next time or something. I was even thinking of landlords, you can do your pre-walkthrough and
oh yeah,
this is the conditions prior, and it's documented so many applications. Well, I told you I didn't want to take up too much of your time, and kind of the platform is 3 questions. Any closing comments with regards to innovation and restoration or the tech?
Well, I think we all need to embrace technology in a very meaningful way, especially right now.
Yeah.
If anyone was on the fence of, oh, maybe I should, I don't know if I should go in this direction. Right now is not the time for sitting and wringing your hands and trying to make a decision.
Right.
Make a decision. The road of life is paved. Excuse me. The road of life is paved with squirrels that couldn't make a decision. Okay. So don't get run over. Make a decision and go with it. Yeah. And if Matterport fits in your business model, you think it'll fit, do it. Yeah. If a 3D camera that's not Matterport fits in your business model, do it.
Yeah.
But there will never be. You can't ever have too much data. Right. And you can't ever have too much access to data. So this is what we're talking about is democratization of data and space. And the more people, more eyeballs we're able to show our work to, the better off everyone else is, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and like you mentioned, on the other side, if someone's coming in after a claim after you and they have this technology versus your traditional, usage, they're gonna eat your lunch, So.
Well, you're gonna look like you're driving a Model T.
Right. Yeah. What's your hashtag is thickest file wins, right?
Thickest file wins, baby. Yep.
Well, so people that want to get in touch with you, and you got the 24-hour tech. If there's companies that are behind on trying to figure out how to help their techs get them information so they can keep things going, that's a great resource. That's on Amazon.
And it's not technology. It's paper-based. It's a beautiful thing. You don't need a cell signal to write down.
Timeless,
documentation.
And then, so claims delegates, you've been on the forefront of writing estimates remotely, and then also the Matterport service if they have questions about that or want to consult with you. So what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Andy@claimsdelegates.com. Okay. That'd be great.
And then claimsdelegates.com obviously is the website.
Obviously, yep.
Very good.
If you want to check out the 24-hour tech, it's the 24hourtech.com. But
That's right.
It
has
on
its own
Amazon will give it
website.
to
Yep. Well, awesome, Andy. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. And,
Absolutely.
go enjoy that sun with your kids.
Will do. Great to see you, man. Take care.
Romantic.